I am the man who takes people into the field and has them either live interact with or eyewitness a Sasquatch. Don't take my word for it. Ask the last expeditioner, David Avocado Wolf, what it feels like to stand there and look at a Sasquatch for several minutes, 5 minutes. It was also with my son. That was the last incredible thing that's transpired in this research. Of course, that was only a few weeks ago. So, new expeditions coming up, lots of new people coming out, and new plans are being made. Very, very interesting new plans. So, I've had this camera for a little while. I'm working with it. It's the Canon SX70. The Kubota footage, which is video 8, which is also it's the dark face Sasquatch is blinking really fast in my movie. It was filmed with the Canon SX50, so this is the new one. I'm having some trouble figuring out how the 4K works on it. Well, I'll get it. So that's my new High Hopes camera, and yeah, I'm just gonna say I'm working on a brand new idea that's gonna really shake things up. Gonna do something I haven't done in a long time, and we'll see how it precipitates out. It's just a matter of working through it. So people are complaining a little bit about new footage. You want to know why I really haven't been focused at all on new footage? Because I don't know how I'm going to get better footage, and I can get better footage, but I've really been, like what has when you look at my footage, I mean, it's incredibly exceptional. It's real Sasquatch. It's outstanding, clear 1080p. I mean, besides the Patterson footage, it's the greatest body of work in existence for Sasquatch. There is nothing to even compare it to. I've filmed Sasquatch on multiple occasions. I have dozens of photographs, dozens of videos, some of which were filmed at the same on the same day on the same occasion. But as I'll quote Jeff Meldrum, it is the greatest body of video and photographic evidence of Sasquatch in existence. There's nothing that can touch it. So, and one might say, well, perhaps there's somebody else out there, and perhaps there is some xenophobe that's working with Sasquatch and doing far better things than I am. The work doesn't count because when they die, it goes off into nothingness. And my work counts because I'm here answering questions, talking about the discovery process, fighting for this discovery process. Um, I'll call it a de facto discovery. It's basically already been made. For those of you who are still doubtful, you need to have a look at the evidence. It's beyond any reasonable doubt. That's why I took this to court over and over. That's why I worked for species protection. Because if I sit down and present the body of evidence, I'll blow anybody's mind. And at the end of it, don't forget, I'm not sitting there saying, hey, take my word for it. I say, come out with me and I'll show you a Sasquatch, which I have done with over 30 people now, have come out with me and I witnessed the Sasquatch. Multiple people have been trained by me and now are going out and having success on their own with Sasquatch. So it's even gone beyond me. And I've taken people up to the top of the mountain in radium. I show people my research site. My close colleagues are very aware of the areas that I get my success and where the tracks are, where the structures are. I'm very, very transparent with how this research works, and now people are going off on their own and having tremendous success, and that's a wonderful thing because my teachings are working. So, uh, and that's what other people aren't doing if they are getting better success than me. So this counts, and the discovery, it's just going to happen. The stuff that we have going on in the sighting that David Avocado Wolf had was amazing. Wait to see the new video that's coming out, the next video that I have. This shows the evidence of where he had his sighting and what he saw. And of course, that sighting is also substantiated. My son saw a Sasquatch when he was younger, about 7 years old. He doesn't remember it very well. He remembers the incident and some of the details. He was with other people when he had his sighting, but this one he'll remember for the rest of his life. And it was amazing, so fortuitous that David Avocado Wolf was there with my son. These two human beings have an incredible relationship. They have so much in common. And now my 15-year-old son is friends and has made a friendship with a great man. David Avocado Wolf is a real trendsetter. He's a critical thinker. He's making the world a better place every day with the great things that he does. And it was an honor to take him out. I'll do this. because this is pretty much a done deal. This is a done deal. So next year, David is coming out with 10 of his people. He has hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram and all over the world. Again, he's a famous guy. He's a very, very powerful man working towards the betterment of humanity. He's on Instagram. You can follow him there. Can't recommend him enough. He's legit. He's real deal, boots on the ground. When he saw a Sasquatch, one of the questions I ask people, because often they're believers and they become knowers when they've seen one, and his answer was very, very different. I asked him, perhaps this is not on camera, so I'll talk about it right now. I said, so what's changed? And he went, what do you mean? Well, you used to believe in Sasquatch. Now you know they exist. You know, he said to me, he says, I didn't believe. He said, I absolutely knew it. I wasn't surprised when I saw them, when I saw that individual. I knew they existed. And the changes in me is it's different from what I've seen other people do. Because usually the amazing people that I take out, most of the time they'll start making excuses and deny it. They have to go away and think for 3 months. I was one of those people when I first knew Sasquatch was real. It took me probably years before, well, at least a year, I would say, before I could really stand in my power and say, I've seen a Sasquatch and they're real, and be confident in that, because you have your doubts, you have your paradigms. Everybody does it. And it's okay. It's a natural process. He didn't do that because he's steps ahead. He knew they existed. He was very accepting of it immediately. And that's why he also manifests that. You've got to understand, the man was out there with me for, he'd been with me for 24 hours approximately, and he saw a Sasquatch. I mean, I don't know what else to say about that. I mean, people generate their own success. I can take you out in a Sasquatch habitat and I can teach you everything I can, but I can't make the I can't make that next piece of success happen until you're ready for it. Because the Sasquatch know this. The Sasquatch knew he was ready. They gave him exactly what he needed. He knew my son was ready. My son needed that as well. It's been very uplifting, and it's been a big change for him. I'm very, very proud of him. He's an amazing young man. Like, I'm so proud of my son and my daughter. My daughter's 6. I do not take her out into the wilderness to do Sasquatch research. Not really. I take her out in the Sasquatch habitat, but she is immensely attached to the biology. She loves plants and flowers, and she is going to also be an icon in the. What I'm doing is, my daughter probably more so than my son. Right now, he's an exceptional athlete, and he's got to go give a professional athletic career a try. He's going to go be a professional athlete for a while. It's something that he needs to do. And but my daughter is just right on par with nature and wilderness and connecting to it and spirituality. She is beautiful about it, and it's a wonderful gift to see a human being growing and emerging like that. And my daughter will be an awesome, powerful figure when it comes to, because one of the problems, the discovery of Sasquatch is about humanity reconnecting with their wildness. Because I'll go through this real quickly again. If you don't understand this concept, better start to get it. Only a wild thing is free. And if you are not wild, if you're domesticated, if you have domestication syndrome, like all of us some suffer from as human beings to some extent, I significantly suffer from it. But the less wild you are, the less free you are. A wild thing is free, a domesticated thing is not. The more you rely on electricity and your phone and your vehicle and all these creature comforts that we have, the more domesticated you become, the weaker we actually become physically. Like, and I would even say mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Disconnecting yourself from your natural self is a horrible sickness that we are suffering from. And my daughter, at this point, at 6 years old, I'm going to tell you, she's going to be an immeasurable, iconic human being in reconnecting us to the natural world, to nature, to our wildness, which is what Sasquatch want, which is what Todd Standing has learned to do. And that's where we're at. So I'm going to start answering some questions here. Thank you all so much very much for tuning in today. Patrick says, how are you doing? I just came back from vacation. So I went on a 1-week vacation to Indianapolis with my colleague, expeditioner, and now personal friend, John. I won't name his last name here. He probably wouldn't mind that, but yeah, built an incredible relationship with this. Our relationship has just grown. Like, you should also understand this with a lot of my expeditioners. These expeditions are so personal. We get real personal. I open up personally. Like these people respect me. They come on expedition. They have a certain admiration for what I do. They come out and they see my love of nature. I reconnect them. They see my level of expertise, and they respect that. And then I open up to them very, very personally, because these expeditions are so personal. That's what transparency is all about, and that's what Sasquatch wants. Through the telepathy that we have to be open and transparent. So I build these incredible relationships with these amazing people, and John teaches me and I teach John. We have these incredible symbiotic relationships, and we're building a very powerful cooperation. It's very powerful, and all of you who are my expeditioners know exactly what I'm talking about. You come on an expedition with Todd Standing, it's a very, very personal experience. um, we will learn, we will grow, we will expand. You'll question me, I'll question you right back. I will push you out of your paradigm, and in certain ways you'll do the same to me. So there's not a single expeditioner that I've taken out that I haven't learned something from. Everybody teaches me something, some more than others. And a lot of the relationships I have are with people just like a soldier, a military man. He has incredible relationships with other men that he's bonded with in, his military service, in combat. And we are the opposite of combat, where combat is very violent and traumatic. We are very positive and fulfilling, probably traumatically positive too. I don't know if your body, when you have really good stress or really bad stress, I don't know if your body can really tell the difference. I've had incredible, great, amazing success in my life, and I felt like it was heavy. It was a heavy weight on me. So that's why I say the military combative experience, we are kind of the opposite end of the spectrum of that. But it's very powerful. It's life altering, but in a very positive way. Because I will grind people. Like I am a masculine man, and I will take you out there and I will push your paradigms. And I may not be nice. I'll be good, but don't expect me to be nice. I'm going to push you to another level. These men and women that I take out, they're at the highest level of their lives. Like they've reached men that get to come out on expedition with me. I probably shouldn't be telling you this. And the human beings that get to do this with me, I find that they've reached a pinnacle in their life and they're having trouble ascending to another level. And that's what these expeditions do. I'm not going to get into more than that, but it's doing expeditions has changed my life for the better so exponentially. And I've worked so hard. I've literally bled. I've fought. I've literally should have been dead at least a dozen times. I've pushed through the most incredible hardships, and I've gotten to this point in my life where I am a full-time. You're looking at a human being who's a full-time self-made man that is a Sasquatch researcher, self-made. Like I'm not some rich kid. I didn't come from everything. Everything I've built is from the ground up. All my foundations are solid, and I've been down in the hardest places. I have pushed myself. I have had no sympathy for any weakness that was within me. I pushed myself. I grind. I I was talented and I have gifts, and I've been banging on my craft my whole life, and it's going on to this day. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritual, I smash and I crash and I grind every day. And that's what we all have a responsibility to do. If you're lazy and your life is easy, you're going to get weak. You've got to push yourself in every way to grow, to expand. And and that's what the discovery of Sasquatch is about. What's a Sasquatch guy? Why is he some personal motivation person? Because if you don't do this, you won't succeed in this incredibly, what's the word I'm looking for? Like it's so challenging, this incredibly challenging venture. If you don't come out on expedition, or if you don't go out in the wilderness, if you don't challenge yourself, you don't push yourself into a place where possibly no human being has ever been, you won't succeed. You have to go and you have to rise above. For that's what a discovery is. You're going and doing something that's never been done before. I literally am making discoveries and finding things that no human being has ever known, starting with things like the simple, like the tree breaks or the alignment in the way they walk, the mid-tarsal joint that I've seen substantiated with Jeff Meldrum's research. And you see these universal truths, the upside down trees that are jammed in, um, seeing how they run differently. And when they run into, there's just so much that's going on, the structures, the complicate intricacies of these brilliant beings. And then we're learning about chimpanzees and working intelligence, how brilliant an animal is, how they're actually a chimpanzee is smarter in the working moment than you are, and seeing that in Sasquatch as well. So all this science, all this research coming back to the to help us understand that not only is the existence of this being possible, it's factual, it's happened. And it's not really that complicated. When you get onto my side and you start seeing all these truths, they're simply telepathic, very spiritual, very connected, extremely advanced in the forest, in the wilderness, and there's great power there. You also see the dark side of it all, the logging that would be damaged, the money men that are out there that don't want this to happen. It's always, when you get into something as deep as this, there'll always be a light and a dark side to it. And that's what we are all about, is focusing on the light. This is a light discovery. This will change humanity to the core of its being. Human beings will literally never be the same, because Sasquatch has that much to teach us, because they're our closest living relative, and they thrive naked and in bliss in the natural world, something that we've lost, and we need to start getting back to that. So let's do some questions here. Good evening from Connecticut. Thank you, Peter. PSN XM Skull stuff says, I wish I could afford to go with you, see Bigfoot. Always wanted to see one with my own eyes. Well, we will. We'll get there. It's even, how do I put this? If you really want something, you'll find a way to manifest it. So I love taking people out. Watch my videos, listen to what I do. Like, would you think I am talented. I've been very athletic my whole life, been very fit, but I've chosen to live that way. I've chosen to work out 6 days a week my whole life. I've chosen to eat properly, eat healthy food, just do all the things necessary to take care of myself. So I've from a major standpoint, this is what I've earned. So being fit and healthy, being physically, has helped me be mentally and spiritually strong. You must understand that. So you can do that. And finding a way financially to make things fall into place, you'll do that too. I tell people, man, you want an expedition, you want to get out there, you can make it happen. And if it's not even, it may not even be necessary for you. You can go out and start doing these things on your own. You can find some locally person to work with. You can, because I did it. Where do you think I came from? You think this is all falling in my lap? I spent decades now busting my ass, meeting people, finding the right individuals, working it out. And what are you, busy? Well, if it's important to you, you make the time and you make it happen. Don't make excuses. I don't want to hear your excuses. I didn't give you any excuses. I'm not giving you any excuses right now. The discovery has happened. It's de facto. You understand, I've taken literally dozens of people out now, and they've eyewitnessed a Sasquatch. Never mind the others, even more, probably triple the number that I've taken out, and they've live interacted with the Sasquatch and seen significant evidence that's convinced them of the reality of the species. Like, this is going on right now. This is happening. So if I can do it, it's proof that anybody can do it. I am special, and so are you. You're special in your own way. And go kick some ass. If you're a man, if you're a woman, go be beautiful and feminine. And find it. My suggestion is to find it through femininity. That's what Jane Goodall and Diane Fossey and Broody Gattagus did. And doing things through your own gentle, beautiful, nurturing, mothering, feminine way is your path to success. So it's going to be very different than myself. Because in case you don't know this as well, there's a big difference between men and women. Big difference. And I embrace that. I mean, my daughter and my son are completely different human beings. So and it's just that's and I have no trouble discussing that, because this is good nature. To have a good masculine to fall in with a good feminine, and to have those come together, it's part of nature, isn't it? Without a masculine and a feminine, there's no procreation and there's no future. So keep that in mind. So PSN, my advice to you is, don't make excuses, find a way to make it happen. Hi Todd, hello Rebecca, thanks for tuning in. Alex says, I love Bigfoot. So do I. Oh my God, I'm such reverence of the species. My teachers are absolutely amazing, but I also have learned the lesson, and it's finally gotten through to me, that I just got to settle down. not be too crazy when I see them, because man, I get excited when I see a Sasquatch, boy, and that doesn't work well for the situation. I've got to find a way, although it's hard because there's sometimes I'll go a, a good distance of time. It feels like a lot where I won't see one, I won't be around one, or I'll see them a lot, but then I want to get closer and have more interactions with them. So when I get really good interactions, I have a tendency to get overly excited, and they don't like that. Of course they don't. I get like weird, happy energy. It's too much. It's overwhelming. So, and my teachers in Nia Bay have been saying that for a long time, and now I've come to understand it because it happened to me. I went out there and there was a Sasquatch like 10, 15 yards away from me. I had three ladies with me, and I was so stoked, and I was talking really fast, really passionately, and the Sasquatch just backed up, and I was like, why? Why are you backing away? Like, we're so close, don't leave. And it was because my energy was right off the hook. So it's almost again, it's finding that middle ground, that balance. It's really important. If you freak out and you get terrified, that's bad. And if you flip out and get overly excited and you're being, oh, there's a Sasquatch, you're being too much of a fanboy, that's not good either. So they're both opposite ends of the spectrum. And there needs to be that middle ground because I'm not scared. I'm not. Like, after all I've been through, and it's been a lot. It's been a journey where there have been days where I quit. There have been years where I quit doing this. And now there is no quit. That word means nothing to me. I will never, ever, ever stop being a Sasquatch researcher. And that's what's exciting about these relationships that I'm building with these men and women that are coming on expedition with me, that are becoming my close personal friends and mentors, and helping shape and guide this discovery process. Is I will never quit on them either. I want to have long-term relationships. You know what I told the Avocado Wolf? So went through a bit. Like, he was supposed to come out on a previous expedition. It just didn't work out. COVID and all that crap had to do with it. But I also don't like excuses, right? So I was a little unhappy that that expedition didn't come to pass. And but he came back. He was tenacious, and I made the decision, and I told him, this is, maybe I don't tell this to many people, and maybe I should, but even like to John, who I just went out on expedition with, I have every intention of being friends with these human beings for the rest of my life. Like, one of us is going to the other person's funeral, kind of thing. Where these are human beings that are so valuable to me that I will, for the sake of the discovery, first and foremost, and that's what we're really about, is first and foremost the discovery process. But it gets personal. I just spent a week in Indianapolis. My daughter became close personal friends with John's wife, who's an amazing, incredible woman, right? And it inspired me in many ways, meeting her, and then inspired him meeting my amazing children. My son's out there water skiing and kicking ass, and we inspire one another. And that's what being in a community and building symbiotic relationships is all about. So that's what's going on here with these expeditions. So, hey, Todd. Hey, oh, there's John right there. So I guess we're going to say Huntsinger is John's name. He's not hiding anything. That's where I just spent a week in the beautiful city of the state of Indiana, in the city of Indianapolis. It was amazing there. So just had an incredible vacation. I believe you, Todd. Thank you, Andy. Thank you so much for tuning in and taking care of the show here today, Andy. Really appreciate you. I guess I missed last week. Yeah, just a crazy time. I really am devoted to these live shows. As you've seen, like, I'm going to do them like 90% of the time, even when I'm out on expedition, which is so exciting because I could literally be on expedition and I got to have somebody watching my back because we're in grizzly bear, mountain lion, wolf habitat. I mean, a bear could walk right up behind me, like, "Ah, I got it. Show's over." So it's that awesome being out there. State of Florida says hi. Thank you, Scully. Man, I get called to Florida so much. Just got a recent person trying to get me to come out there with incredible evidence. Man, I'd like to get out there. Brian G says looking forward to it, but the best footage I've ever seen. It gets better. They can't keep denying it's real. Yeah, absolutely. So PSN says I would love to see a Bigfoot and learn to. I would love to see a Bigfoot and learn to look for Sasquatch. And just watch my stuff. Pay attention to these videos. I mean, here's the advice. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. Go love nature. Go learn about nature. Be a great student of the natural world. And when you're a great student, the master will appear to you. If you don't love nature, if you're not out there in the wilderness, loving it, eating the berries, learning about the plants, adoring the trees and the mushrooms and the fungus and the sphagnum moss or whatever's out in your habitat, if you're not loving all that stuff, then you have nothing in common with Sasquatch, because their first love is of nature. They are the ultimate wild species. They're the apex species in nature, and they have perfect equilibrium, and they thrive with tremendous abundance in ecologies where a human being would be dead in a short period of time if they didn't use technology to survive. Hello, Julie. Thanks for coming in. I'm always defending Todd's research to people. But Julie, I appreciate that. Thank you. But show them. I wouldn't worry so much about defending, because there's so much crap. And when you get into those haters, they just say the stupidest things. It's idiotic, the stuff they say. Well, he's a proven hoaxer. They did that to Jeff Meldrum. For years, Jeff went around talking, oh yeah, he's a proven hoaxer. Where's the proof? Oh, well, we don't want to talk about it. Of course you don't, because you don't have any, because there is no proof. The lies that precipitate are despicable and disgusting. No, my sister is not a special effects makeup artist. No, my dad didn't date a woman who owned a fabric store. What that would have to do with anything else? And I hear these preposterous. I can't even keep up with the garbage that's being panned out. Just the stupidest stuff. And you can show people the Sasquatch footage, but remember this. This is so important. So important. Thank you, Larry and Analia, for teaching me this. The Sasquatch allowed my footage to happen. They made sure the Patterson footage happened. And they will only attract people. They only are interested in attracting people that can see the truth right away, or that can be intrigued enough to pursue the topic enough to discover the truth, because the truth is right there. It's so overwhelming. It's ridiculous. It's totally, you understand? If I took this to a court of law, I would annihilate fish and wildlife. I would bury them. I would prove this species exists, even based on the criteria set today. There's a Skywalker gibbon that was discovered without a body. Well, you can't have a species without a body. Yes, you can. Almost a decade ago, the Skywalker gibbon was acknowledged with simple DNA and photographs, and someone taking you out there and showing them. Wait a second, that's me. I have DNA. I can take you out and show you, and I have photographic evidence like you can't even imagine. And the whole how they survive and what they do, that's all out there. It all exists. So don't spend too much time wasted on these people that are just naysayers and saying ridiculous, preposterous, hatred things. I mean, the lies that are precipitating, I actually have to say, are impressive, and I just don't even have time so to mess with it. As Andy says here, please feel free to subscribe to the channel. We have hundreds of videos up here. It's a library of Sasquatch information. Hello, Royal Creations. Thank you for tuning in today, my friend. Boom! Is it the Sasquatch call themselves? That's why we're all saying that today. Somebody calls himself Joe Rogan. I doubt that. When's the last time you cried? It's been recent. It's been recent. I have, I have pains in my life. I have difficulties that go on. But yeah, I cry. So just I'm a pretty emotional guy, because I feel things. I'm extremely passionate about the things that I hold valuable. So like even this morning, I gave a speech to my son, and I got teary-eyed. I was like, kiddo, we got to do this. We got to work for this thing. I don't know. I'm very, very passionate, and I feel things very, very deeply. And the price you pay for that is you get damaged deeply emotionally when you lose things, when there's loss in your life, when people mistreat you. It's you feel pain, and I feel pain deeply. So I feel that in a lot of what I do. I could get emotional. I'm the kind of guy that actually I could just sit down and think about something that I went through, a pain in my life, and I could get very upset. So because I am, but I've also, as a man, I've learned to be more logical and have decent controls over those emotions. So for the most part, I make sure I very rarely, especially at this point in my life, get overly emotional about things. I allow my logic, my reason, my mental state to trump over my emotional state for the most part. I mean, there have been a few times on this show where you've seen me get a little upset. So it happens, but nobody's perfect. But that's definitely not the real Joe Rogan. No chance of it. Please teach me what. Again, just watch the movies. This is what I suggest: watch my movie, watch all 4 episodes of Survivor Man Bigfoot, and then just tune into these shows and look at old shows. And there's lots. So I knew they were real from the first time I saw the Patterson footage. See, that's what they want, John. They see. I would call someone like you when you can see the truth. This has nothing to do with paranormal or any kind of woo thing. A human being who can just see the truth can see it. This is a very spiritual thing. This is a faith issue. Certain people, especially empathic, telepathic, deeply soulful, passionate people, can look at something and just go, "That's true," and nobody will tell them otherwise. They have that knowing, and that's powerful. And that's who Sasquatch wants. Sasquatch call people like you, John Amber, lights, and they can communicate with you because you know you're not in a zombie state. You're not overly domesticated. You're not blinded by all the BS that goes on. You can see the truth. You can feel the truth. When the truth hits you, you know it and you recognize it. And there are millions of people like that. Unfortunately, there are hundreds of millions, sorry, even billions of other people that don't have that ability and can't see the truth. And those are the naysayers and the can't be done people. And quick lesson, man, I've learned this in my life. If you say you can't, you'll be right. And if you say you can, I bet you'll be right too. So, whatever mindset you approach to the subject matter is generally how it comes to pass. And with me, a through line in my life, period, because remember, I started Bigfoot research to prove they didn't exist. But that's not true. The truth is, the truth happened is I was looking for the truth. And if your mindset is always open, like, I came into knowing Bigfoot wasn't real. I was a knower. I thought the Patterson footage was not real. I was a blind zombie like so many other people. I didn't have the talents and gifts as many other people do to see the truth immediately. So respect to you, John Amber, for having that ability. It was not me. So I had my doubts about it being fake or not on both ends of the spectrum. But what happened when I began the scientific process of looking for reasons for the species to not exist, I couldn't find any. And then when I really researched the topic, the truth just came through to me. And this is an important topic, ladies and gentlemen. This is an extremely important topic because I'm right that they are telepathic. That's how they easily evade people. You can't sneak up on a telepath. They can feel you coming. They know what your intent is. Not going to happen. And telepathy is an absolutely real truth that exists. And most of us are aware of that. So they're just highly, exceptionally telepathic. How do you sneak up on that individual? You can't. But they're also the most man-like species on the planet. And they have actually bred with us. This is in the DNA and produced viable offspring. So they're literally, you could say, a subspecies of us. So the reason I'm telling you that is because their exceptional telepathic abilities is something we can learn, and this will change the world forever. If you're telepathic, I mean, you're protected at all times. You can't be snuck up on. You can feel the presence of people around you. You can tell if somebody's lying. You can tell if somebody's authentic. You can spiritually expand and grow to beyond what we can ever even have imagined. Precognition is real. I've experienced it. Telekinesis is real. I've seen the Sasquatch do it. Frequency manipulation is real. These are things that quantum physics are touching on right now. These are absolute realities that I've seen undeniable evidence of. And I'm not sitting here telling you, oh, believe this. I know this stuff. I'll show you what I've seen. I'll I'll take people out, and even in the next movies that come, even in my footage that's already up on YouTube, I'm showing people the reality of that cannot be broken without frequency manipulation. I'm talking about tree breaks. These feats of strength that they do, the Squamish um, uh, gondola that was broken by a Sasquatch, um, it was done through frequency manipulation. He didn't come out there with a saw and cut it. So, and you hear these people, I got a lot of chastisement, especially from Sasquatch. What the heck was that guy? Brian got upset with me and lost it. Called me the mayor of I don't know, Looney Town or something. Just said very something disrespectful after having been on an expedition with me. It was very disrespectful. And I have to come at that from a con. You got to be. I don't know what the hell you're thinking if you think that thermal image is not a Sasquatch. Like That is clearly a thermal image of a Sasquatch. That is the individual responsible for breaking the gondola cable. That's why the police released that image. It's a 9 foot tall, 900-pound naked hominid biped. There is no human being anywhere near that big. Like, people are saying, what's it, Michelin Man? Except it's naked. The individual isn't wearing clothes. He's not wearing shoes. He's naked, and he's thermally registering as I had hypothesized a Sasquatch would. I'm not going to get into details of it. He's showing a mid-tarsal joint when he's walking, for God's sake. He's walking, it's clearly a Sasquatch. And people are chastising me for thinking I'm crazy to say a Sasquatch broke that cable. Well, let's put 1 + 1 together. That individual, that 9 foot tall, 900-pound individual, was there and filmed moments before the gondola cable broke. Okay, this is a Sasquatch. He's not out there with a saw. I'm not saying he was out there with a saw. That's preposterous. They don't use technology. They do frequency manipulation. I can prove that out in the wilderness. I've shown that to hundreds of people. That tree break couldn't have happened through any force known to mankind. It had to be frequency manipulated. And I have other evidence to substantiate that truth as well. Many, many pieces of evidence. So I know they can do that. So that's what they did with the cable. It's as simple as that. And, I'm going to sit here and people are going to chastise me and give me heck. And that's fine. Try not to be disrespectful, though. Because even though Brian from Sasquatch, I think it's Sasquatch Odyssey, was very disrespectful to me, I won't give him disrespect back. I respect his perspectives. He thinks there's such thing as a 9-foot-pound, 900 man walking around naked in the wilderness, all by himself, breaking gondola cables. Cool. That's preposterous to me. I'm sorry you feel that way, but I will not disrespect you by calling you the mayor of Idiotville or something stupid like that. So that's your perspective. I respect that. What else is there to say? Have a nice day. So Tammy Strickland, Todd, do you think Bigfoot learned to fear humans through the experience and that's why they hide? No. Well, maybe. They fear the sickness of domestication, 100%. So they've learned from human beings, don't touch technology. Because once you go down that road, you end up like this: hairless, small, weak, reliant upon your domestication. We are literally, if you look at pigs, they're domesticated. And you look at wild pigs, the wild pigs would be a Sasquatch, the domesticated pigs would be us. Literally, in the United States, the beautiful, wonderful, amazing, incredible United States of America, that I pray for its health and abundance every day. That incredible country that is literally the Rome of our times may fall because of what's going on right now. There's no arguing these facts. This is just one fact: is 70% of Americans in the United States are overweight or obese. If you think that's healthy, and that's a nightmare. And that's your food, and that's your lack of exercise. Laying around, not getting enough exercise, and eating horrible, nasty, terrible food, drinking horrible, nasty, awful, chlorine, disgusting water that gives cancer to dogs, but not to people apparently. So I used to have nose cancer and all sorts of skin cancer all over the place. It's gone. It kept coming back and coming back. I don't use sunscreen anymore, and I drink filtered water, and all my cancer is all gone. So I still have little marks and stuff on my face. That's unrelated, but you must understand the cancer that kept coming back because of being exposed to sun. I've never been last year for sure. I never had so much sun. I never used sunscreen. I have no skin cancer because I have no chlorine in my body anymore. So there's a lot of horrible stuff going on, and all I could do is go back into nature, focus on the natural world, and educate people to the reality of we need to get back to that. We shouldn't have grass lawns in the front. We should be growing vegetables. We should be growing alfalfa, for God's sake, and feeding the freaking chickens. Like, we are such a wasteful, so reliant upon processed food. We're so separated from growing things, from nature, from connecting with the wilderness. That spiritual connection is dead in domesticated people, and that means you're very unhealthy, and it's terrible, terrible, terrible. Beaver Gonzalez, you're the goat for the real. Thank you, Todd. Honor and a privilege to hear you say that. I do have no competition. I don't know anybody else who can do what I do at the level I do it at. There is no competition. And if I did have competition, don't forget, I consider myself, and I am, if there was a belt, I would wear it. I am the heavyweight champion of the Sasquatch discovery. Do you know why? Because if someone else discovers a Bigfoot, I win. And if I discover a Bigfoot, I win. The Sasquatch exists. The discovery is going to happen one way or another. If it's me, I win. If it's them, I win. Can't lose. Can't be taken out of this. Someone proves Bigfoot's real, and they're going to go, wow, look at the tree breaks. Look at the way they move. Look at their habituations. Look, they're telepathic. Just like Todd Stanning's been saying for decades. Not sorry. And what's that going to do for me? What's going to do for my expeditions? It'll explode them, right? Because they've always been boots on the ground out there making this discovery happen, grinding and pushing, going places where human beings dare not go for fear of nature, bears, mountain lions, feeding a wolf, being murdered. All these things are absolute realities, getting lost, all the crap that can go on out in the wilderness. So they're a dangerous place. It's built on only the strong survive. And I have thrived in the environments. I have so made a place in the ecology for me to take people out and eyewitness a Sasquatch or live interact with them, that I do these expeditions, and I'm very, very proud of it. It seemed impossible in the beginning, but I am thriving doing so, and also thriving even doing these shows, helping people. It comes back to me. It's my karma. I love Sasquatch, and so much karma comes back to me because I give so much and I receive so much in return. And immensely, and sincerely understand this. All of you watching this show, I'm immensely grateful for you. All of you expeditioners that have come out, and all the people that have supported me over the years. I couldn't have done this without you. I couldn't have. I wouldn't be here, a full-time Sasquatch researcher, without you. So from the bottom of my heart, you want to see me get upset and cry? Thank you so much, because I love my life. Next question. There you go. Got teary-eyed for you. They learned we are dangerous. Oh, yes. We are so dangerous, right? Because we can be deceptive. That's where the danger lies with people. So I'll talk about this. Many, many years ago, the Sasquatch were mind speaking with me, and I was having trouble understanding it, but it got through to me. And the basic premise of what they were saying was, okay, I'm an honest man. And they can see that right into my heart. Like, I'm a truthful, honest man. I always have been. I've made mistakes, but I'm honestly speaking the truth about Sasquatch being real. I have real photos and videos that I show out into humanity. They've been all over newspapers, all over the internet. There are millions, hundreds, tens of millions of people have seen my footage of Sasquatch. And then they go to me, and you're telling the truth. Why don't they believe you? And my answer is because people lie and cheat so much that human beings don't believe other human beings. They can't see in my heart that I am a good man and I am telling the truth. And human beings have taught us, amongst human beings, to be deceptive, to be untruthful. And then they went, and that's why we're really afraid of you. That's where our fear lies in with you, is when you can't, when people can't see an honest man telling the truth. That's a freaking scary thing. It's pretty terrifying to them. I'm out there telling the truth, exposing the reality of this, and they don't understand why the whole world doesn't understand, why every human being doesn't know that Sasquatch exists. They've given me the evidence. They've given Patterson and Bob Gimlin all the evidence. It's right there. They gave Patterson that footage. I'm going to tell you something I've learned too. I used to hear this crap about Roger Patterson and how he was he was a fraud and he was a con man. No, really. And I looked into the evidence of it, because people say this about me all the time. You know what the only freaking piece of evidence that he was a fraud or a con man is? They found that he wrote a check that bounced, that didn't go through. He did that once in his life, and now he's a fraud and he's a con man? What? How do you deduce that? What if he made a mistake? What if the overdraft didn't work? What if a million things went wrong? What if the bank didn't like the signature on it? That made him a dishonest, horrible, lying, fraudulent con man? What kind of a douche jerk-off made that deduction? Man, you're an ass. Oh, you know you're going to find out about me? I paid my power bill late. Oh, he didn't pay his power bill. He's a con man. What the hell are you talking about? Like, you can't make those deductions, because I couldn't figure out, for the life of me, Bob Gimlin is the most amazing. He is a 10 out of 10 human being. That dude is, I was like, how was he there for this? And what I've deduced based on what I know about Sasquatch now and what I know about Bob Gimlin is Roger Patterson was a wonderful man. He was a good-hearted, wonderful gentleman. It's a shame that he's not around today. And I've listened to him talk. Even I heard Grover Krantz talk about Roger Patterson a little bit. And what I've deduced sincerely is he was a very simple, uneducated man who was good and honest and wonderful. And he was very telepathic, and the Sasquatch were speaking to him. He drew pictures of the Patterson female before he ever filmed her. Like he was drawing stuff that was very similar, even a Sasquatch female, the same shape with breasts. Well, you're going to say, well, that proves he hoaxed it. Can't be done. That is impossible to have hoaxed. I have statistically, mathematically, with the help of Jeff Meldrum, proven that the odds of him having hoaxed that conservatively are 1 in 100 centillion. Like if every human being played this lottery that was 1 in 100 centillion, there's 8 billion people on the planet, nobody would win it in 10,000 years if they played it every day. The odds are infinitely preposterous. We live based on calculus and mathematical realities where there's derivatives you throw away. The impossibility of that footage being faked is completely out the window impossible. So I fall back to he was being, I know telepathy exists. I'm telepathic. The people I work with are telepathic. The biggest successful people I know are very telepathic. They've been speaking to Jeff Meldrum his whole bloody life. So whether he wants to admit that or not. But my point is that they were being telepathic. They wanted him to come get that footage. And they were sending him images of precognition, you could argue, but just of them. And even people were coming down from the town telling Roger Patterson, hey, there's Bigfoot up there. We've been seeing them. So all this stuff fell into place. It wasn't a coincidence. There's no such thing. They were calling to him. They wanted that footage filmed. She walked on the perfect substrate to leave incredible tracks while he filmed this incredible piece of footage that is amazing, and most people rejected it. And we failed the test. Sasquatch tested us to see if a good, honest man, 2 good, honest men, could come back to society with legitimate, real evidence that they exist, and what would happen. And you know what happened? Most people, 90% of people, didn't believe. Except you, John Amber. You did. And millions of others saw the truth for what it was, didn't need the evidence. I needed the evidence. I needed the logical, mental, yada, yada, to substantiate the truth. And now I'm at such a point like it's just real. The Patterson footage is real. And I'm not, if you can't see that, I'm going beyond that. There are people out there, there's so many millions of us that are in the know, that are good people, that want this discovery to move forward, and I'm focused on you. So thank you very much for being here. And for those of you who are doubtful, I have to be respectful of that, because remember, that was me. And I hope that you keep pushing forward. Look for the evidence. Look up Jimmy Chilcott. Look up the dermal ridges. Look up Jeff Meldrum, for God's sake, has the tracks accepted by the scientific community as organic tracks from a bipedal hominid that currently resides here in North America. But that's not enough. The feet are real, just the rest of the body isn't. That's how preposterously ridiculous this discovery has been. The DNA, the acknowledgement of the footprints being real, the hundreds of thousands of witnesses all across the country that goes way back into the history of the Native Americans and the First Nations people. Not enough. It's enough. So if it isn't, it should be. So, wow, Grayson, please tell us more about, so if you have an incident that you want to tell me about, bigfootencounter@gmail.com. Thank you for putting that up, Andy. Do Sasquatch like dogs? Some dogs. You can't just make a blanket statement like that. Some dogs are jerks. Some dogs will attack you. Some dogs will bite you. Some Sasquatch are jerks. Some Sasquatch don't like people. Some Sasquatch don't like dogs. Every individual is going to be different. What I'll tell you, though, as I know for a fact, I've seen multiple incidents where the dogs have incredible success with Sasquatch, that the dogs will go and play with Sasquatch. There's a lady, Shelley in Alaska, who told me about, there was so she's way out in the backcountry in Alaska, has a beautiful spot. She's a very Alaskan person, loves nature, living off the land. She's just an amazing human being. I have a tremendous amount of respect for her. She has one side of the creek that's hers, and the other, where hers and the bears and everything come, and the other side of the creek is Sasquatch. And her dog that she had for years and years, for his whole life, would run over and play with the Sasquatch. He'd come back all exhausted. And then this incredible thing happened where her dog passed away. He died at, like, let's say it was 3 o'clock in the morning. And she knew that because she was woken up to the Sasquatch crying, like yelling, going, "Rah!" Like she heard a really sad yell. And then she got up and checked on her dog and noticed that he had passed away. And it was Sasquatch that cued her to that reality. That's how close the Sasquatch was to this particular dog. So, an amazing story, very heartfelt. I totally. It's like with the Patterson footage. A lot of times, I'm pretty good at seeing through BS. I can hear the ring of truth, I call it, and I can hear the ring of BS often when people are talking about Sasquatch or just talking about things in general. I'm getting better at it as I tune into my deep spiritual feelings and my mind speak, my telepathy, to feel into the deception and the truth and the honesty and the integrity of certain people. So and I know she's telling the truth. That's just the way it is. So Grayson Schuler, it was right next to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Gatlinburg, Tennessee. It was amazing. I seen them on my way out of the woods on that particular Sunday. And only you know, because I don't do telepathy from someone sending me a text. I can kind of see what you're saying, which is awesome. But I'll tell you something. If you saw a Sasquatch, it's extremely likely that they did it on purpose. And it's extremely likely, in my experience, that there's something very special about you for them to have shown themselves to you. Just my perspective. And Jeff Meldrum very much adamantly disagrees with me on that perspective. He thinks a lot of times they can be random and blah blah blah, but I just don't believe that. That's a difference between Jeff and I. Is he believes in the randomness of numbers. He believes in probabilities transpiring. He's very, very scientific about things. And I love science. I embrace it. Science is a reality. It's all around me. I'm talking to you through the miracle and magic of science right now. But I'm much more on the spiritual side of this discovery process. Uh, a father figure in my life, the late, great, amazing, incredible Dr. John Benedego, wildlife biologist, PhD, lived his life entirely based on the factual scientific discovery process of Sasquatch. And I've learned from his mistake that I will not do that same thing. I love the science. I embrace it. I'm very interested in getting my PhD in specifically in Sasquatch. Is that going to be amazing? So I have a route where I can uh, continue on the path of anthropology and become an anthropologist specializing in primate behaviors, and actually go a step further and get a degree in anthropology to do specifically with the primate commonly referred to as Sasquatch. And I have a PhD who was interested in sponsoring me for that, mostly based on the fact that the great and amazing Jeff Meldrum has had their feet scientifically accepted as real, and I can base my PhD on that discovery process, something I will likely do in my lifetime. So, Michael, so just a couple more questions. Let's go down here. Oh my goodness, all these amazing questions. You guys are awesome. Do you believe in dogmen? No, absolutely not. Seen no evidence of dogmen. Do the MIB harass you? Not really. No. There's been a couple weird things, but for the most part, I mean, on the internet, there's crap going on. I've had people show me stuff that's like the way they're burying me and hiding things, but whatever. We'll just keep moving forward, guys. What are we gonna do? We are all telepathic. Everything is telepathic. That's how a bear and a moose communicate. A bear and a moose communicate? That's awesome. To understand that potential existing, absolutely. And but I totally agree with you. This is Explore America. Thank you very much for saying that, because all I know is that they like the Who. All I know is that they like the Who. Is that, you mean the band, the Who? So Carol Rowland says, "Hi Todd from Wales, UK." So we are international. I always love it when we go international, because Canada and the United States, man, we are just like peas and carrots when it comes to the discovery of Sasquatch. With many things, we are very much in alignment, which is wonderful. Uh, the habitats in the United States we're just north of that. Like Montana is Alberta, Washington State, so similar to British Columbia, so it just goes on like that. Ontario, goes down into the United States, into Illinois. It's so similar. So we're of so much cut from the same cloth until you get into the southern United States, where the ecology dramatically changes. But I'm very familiar with the northern United States ecology. I'm very comfortable there. But what was the question again? But anyway, so I don't really consider us international, which is Canada, US. But when Wales comes on, when Australia comes on, I bet you there's more people from all over the world. I just love that this is being broadcast all over planet Earth. I just think that's so cool. Elon Musk saying he does not believe. So Elon Musk doesn't believe in Sasquatch. That's okay. So why did the Sasquatch face match Todd? Who this is so this Xander C. You're gonna try to be nice. That is the stupidest. The face doesn't match mine. What kind of an idiot would say? Okay, here's where I get overly emotional. What a stupid thing to say. You know how big Jake's head is? I proved that Jake's head is like mine. My head is 7 inches across. Jake's was like 15, so it's double. Kubota, his eyes go 2.5 across. Mine only go one. The How preposterously stupid it is that morons say crap like that blows my freaking mind. Like, what the hell kind of crap, stupid thing is that to say? See, here's me getting overly emotional. Just dumb. Like, why do people keep saying stupid things like that? It matches my face exactly. Really? I don't have my glasses here. You want to see something about my face? I pick a pair of glasses up and I put them on. Anywhere I go, I can go to a 7-Eleven, I can go to a corner grocery store, I can go to a drugstore, I can go to an eye shop, and all the freaking glasses fit me. I wonder why that is. Oh, yeah, I have human proportions. Crap for brains. So even if that was the truth, which is a blatant, complete, utter, preposterous lie to the core, it's a stupid thing to say. It's so dumb. Like, as an example, I had a little girl. It was actually Stephanie McMahon when she was like 7 years old, let's say. And she was sitting on the lap of Andre the Giant, just to show how stupid Thinker Thunker is. And I actually matched her head into Andre the Giant's. You just move the proportions. Like Andre the Giant is gigantic. He's an enormous man. Stephanie McMahon at 7 years old is just a little girl. And yet she fits perfectly into his head. And I had to say this. This is how stupid people like Xavier C are. How ridiculous it is. It was never Andre the Giant. It was always Stephanie McMahon in a costume. That's how dumb it is to say that my face exactly matches. Like, what kind of an idiotic thing to say? Stephanie McMahon was always Andre the Giant. It was never really Andre. It was just Stephanie. Like, it's just dumb. It's so dumb. I don't know what else to say. You could probably fit my face in the Patterson footage. Problem is, morons. I guarantee you, I could fit my face in her perfectly. Look, Todd was in the video in 1967. Todd wasn't born till the 70s. He wasn't even born in 67. Oh, I'm sure it's him. Look, the proportions match exactly, so he must have been born and then reborn and then. What do you say to morons that say stupid things like that? Whew, dumb. It weighs on me because every day I see it in the comments. I don't even know what to say. Like, what kind of who are the idiots that are saying this crap? Wow, that's the hottest thing going right now. My lips match Jake's exactly. Oh, really? Except Jake's lips are bigger than my head and go up into my nose, into my chin. Jake's lips would literally be like this big. And I proved that beyond any reasonable doubt, conservatively, his lips are like that big. But they match Todd's exactly. Guess you don't like evidence and you don't like truth. And maybe you should just go away, Xavier, because you're one of those people that we're just never going to convince. I could show you all the evidence in the world and just going to sit there and say stupid stuff like that. So, on to the next question. I only have one more question I can do. William Haley says, so not ape, they will never let you take credit. They can't accept it. They will take your studies and use them for their own benefit. Yowie Chronicles are amazing. Watch the golfing encounter. Well, thanks for all that, William. Let's talk about what William just said. So they're not an ape. They're absolutely, like, they're a primate. They'll fit into the primate category. But this is what's amazing too. And so primates go like this. It goes on a scale, right? Let's do a scale. So gorillas are closer to, or sorry, orangutans, and then gorilla, and then chimpanzee, and then human. So this is the scale of primates as we know it, right? And bonobos are in there, and chimpanzee. So, but orangutans are further away from humans, right? Then chimpanzees are closest to human, and then gorillas are further away than chimpanzees. This is the scale of DNA as we know it, as genetics. So orangutan, gorilla, chimpanzee, human. Do you know where Sasquatch are? Over here. Is that amazing? So completely not apes, hominids. So you were correct, and I concur with that thing. They, as in I'm assuming the governments and the men that have power, they will never let you take the credit. I'll take that credit myself. I take credit right now. Hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people all over the world have watched me. And I'll take credit right now for the success I've had. I've filmed them multiple occasions. I'll take that credit. So I'm going to disagree with you on that right now. I'm taking my own credit. And there are hundreds of thousands of people that take me very seriously and believe what I have to say. So that's good enough for me. They can't accept it. I'm not going to ask. They can close the door on me and I will kick the frickin' door down. Through social media, through the cooperation of all you amazing people on here right now, we aren't going to let them can't accept it. We don't do can't. I will kick the freaking door down. The proof is here right now, and I will never, ever, ever stop growing and expanding and going to the next level. Never, ever. Don't ever tell me I can't. That I can't. How many times people have said that to me after I filmed video 1 and 2? Well, you'll never get a facial. Then I filmed 3 and 4. They're complete facials. Then you'll never get this, and I got a thermal. Then you'll never get this, and I got the Kubota video. Like, just don't tell me I can't, because I will. I've filmed Sasquatch dozens of times. I have dozens of photographs of them. I will, and I can. So I respectfully disagree with that. They will take your studies and use them for their own benefit. I agree. I think their studies are far more advanced probably than mine. I'm thoroughly convinced that the government has an extremely high knowledge of Sasquatch through testimony and just testimony of military officers that I've spoken to. So they have more than I could ever teach them. And they just talks about Yahweh Chronicles promoting somebody else. That's fine. That's cool. So that's going to be our show for today. I've gone over the hour. Love doing the show with you guys. I want to encourage you all, everybody who's watching this podcast, even the people that are kind of dumbasses like that ex-guy talking about preposterous things. For God's sake, stop drinking water out of the tap. Please filter your water, get the chlorine and crap out of it. Stop eating horrible processed food. Take care of yourself physically. Please take the time to worry about what you're eating, worry about your children are eating. Let's do these things so we can physically, emotionally, spiritually, and every way, physically expand and grow. Because if you don't eat and take good care of yourself and get proper exercise and put stress on your body, you will get weaker and you will fall away into domestication, into the zombie land, and become a non-critical thinker. And for that, anybody who lives that life doesn't even have my sympathy. Sorry. Get your ass out of bed, get some freaking exercise, do some ice bathing, eat some healthy food, take care of yourself because you matter, and you could change your life by just doing those things. And that's essential for the discovery process. For anybody who's working for the discovery process of Sasquatch that I mentor and work with, I tell them all these same things. Number one thing to worry about is your spirituality, but your spirituality will suffer if you're eating crap food and it's like peeing in the gas tank. You're not going to run very well. So take really, really good care of yourself. Start by eating your healthy foods, getting your exercise. You matter. All of society matters to me dramatically. And this is what this discovery process is about. Thank you very much for tuning in. I will be back next Wednesday, and there'll be the new David Avocado Wolf video you do not want to miss with my young 15-year-old son. You will meet Thaden Standing. I will be honored to put that video up this week. You will love it, and stay tuned. So much more happening. Bye for now.